We're live. Alright. This chair keeps moving back. Can we zoom out a little bit?
Why? Why small? Like only half of the screen. Or like two here.
Let me just adjust. Alright. It's lagging on my side. Alright. Hi everyone. Okay, let's just begin the live. Alright, so we will be working on some grammar today to pick up from where we left off last class. And then we will go through some vocab today. Okay, so do something that is slightly different. Alright. Let me just pull out the questions. Alright, so you guys can take a look at the questions. Okay, let's start with question 7 today. Alright, let's start with question 7 today. It will be slightly different, okay, from the ones that we worked on. Hi everyone, welcome to the live. Okay, so we will be working on, okay, let's look at question 7. Since the coffee was still very hot, Mr. Ang took blank sips at a time. Alright, so now when it comes to this, we have 4 different options: many, much, a few, and a little. Alright, so we have all these options. Alright, please take a look with me. Okay, first things first, okay, we have to annotate, okay, because when we are at the start of any composition, any question, we have to do a slight bit of annotation, okay? So even it is something that will help students to actually get a better understanding of what is required from them when it comes to the question, okay? So you can take a look. All right. Since the coffee is still very hot, Mr. Ang took blank sips at a time. First things first, we have to understand that the coffee is very hot, okay? So because the coffee is very hot, it gives us an understanding that whatever he drinks, whatever he does, it's going to be very limited. So I would assume that it's a small amount. So the sips will be a small amount. Okay, second thing is that over here we're talking about sips. Okay, sips would be considered countable. Okay, it is countable. When you're talking about uncountable, you're talking about either a very fine amount of items, such as maybe sugar. You don't say one sugar, you say some sugar. Okay, so these are some things, some basics that we would like students to have a decent grasp on. All right, so let's work on this. Okay, so first things first. Okay, many means a large number, and then many is also countable. Okay, countable, so you can say that there are many. Okay, much is large number, but it is uncountable. Okay, like when you say, do you know how much I missed you? When you say much, you can't count how much you miss someone. All right, a few would be small amount, small number, and would be countable. Okay, you can say a few cakes, a few pebbles. A little is a small number, but it is uncountable. Okay, because when you're saying a little, you can say a little sugar. Okay, there's so much sugar in a cow. How do you count the amount of sugar? All right, so now what we're gonna do over here, okay, first things first, let's take a look. Okay, we have to note the two annotations that we made, small amount and countable. Okay, so now when we do this, okay, let's take a look. Many is large number and countable. Okay, it does not fit that because we're looking for something with a small number. All right, so I'm going to cancel it. Okay, then we have much. Much is a large number and it's uncountable. Okay, this is completely wrong because we're looking for a small number and a countable, right? So a few is small number, okay, which is correct in this case, and countable. Okay, so it does seem like it could be the best answer. Okay, and then we have a little. A little is small number plus uncountable. All right, so it doesn't make sense either, leaving us with 3 as the answer. All right, so let me know if you guys have any questions. Okay, do let me know. Okay, do let me know if you guys have any questions. Okay, so and now let's move on to the next question. The next question is it's slightly different. It is the same idea, okay? I'll give everyone 1 or 2 seconds to see what the answer might be as I drink some water. All right, let me know if you guys have any answers. All right. Okay, now we have question 8. Okay, first things first, let's do the same thing. Okay, she ate blank strawberries because she was already full. Okay, now first things first, we have to understand that we're talking about strawberries. Okay, when you're talking about strawberries, you can count it. Right, it is countable. It is countable. Okay, so when you're talking about already full, you're suggesting that it's gonna be a small amount. Okay, it's gonna be a small amount. Right? Now, when you're saying that it's going to be a small amount, okay, we have to see if any of these fit it. Okay, number 1 is much. Much, okay, is used for big amounts. And uncountable. A few is used for small amounts. And countable. A little is small amounts. Hi everyone, welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. We are currently going through English, okay? The PSLE English paper, okay? This is a little small amount and it is countable, okay? And then we have a few, which, okay, we have many. Many is big amounts and countable, sorry. A little is uncountable, sorry, my bad. Okay, and this is countable. And this is countable. Alright. Okay. Do let me know if you guys have any questions, alright? Do let me know. Okay, then let's take a look. Okay, we're looking for small amount and countable. Alright, big and uncountable, that is incorrect. Small amount and countable, it sounds like 2 could be correct. Well, let's see. Okay, a little, also not correct because we're talking about uncountable with a little. Many is countable, okay? So I'm going to cancel it, okay, because it is big amount. Leaving us with number 2 as the answer. She ate a few strawberries because she was already full. Alright, does that make sense? Alright, Question 9. The lady blank is my neighbor has a cute dog. Alright, so over here, okay. Alright, welcome to the live, Jolson. Alright, the lady blank is my neighbor has a cute dog. Alright, so when we're talking about this over here, okay, the lady, okay, this is the subject that we're talking about. And since we see that there are two commoners over here, we can already understand that this is going to be considered extra information. This is extra information and it is based on the subject, all right? So now, first things first, let's take a look at the others, all right? Who is usually used, okay, to talk about people? Which is also is used for things, not people. And we have whom. Whom is used when people are the objects of the sentence, okay? So not the subject. Okay, let me write that down. And we have whose, which means belongs to. Okay, and since over here, something my neighbor, we are not talking about her belonging to a neighbor. It is not whose, okay? It is not whom because the lady is the subject of the sentence, not not the object. Okay, it's the subject, not the object, right? And she's not a thing, so it's not which. The answer will be 1. All right. And then we have question 10, all right? Okay, I just forgot to read the whole thing. Okay, the lady who is my neighbor has a cute dog. All right, so that is the answer. All right, and we have question 10. The teacher blank gave us extra homework, was very kind. All right. Okay, now let's take a look over here. First things first, the subject that we're talking about over here is the teacher. Okay, so this is the subject. All right, and what we have over here, okay, gave us extra homework. Again, this is extra information. Okay, and it is pertaining to the teacher. All right. Okay, now first things first, which refers to things, not people. Who refers to people. Whom refers to when the person is the object of the sentence, right? And we have whose. Whose is used as to explain that something belongs to someone, all right? So we have all these options. Okay, first things first, we're not talking about the teacher, okay, who belongs to someone, all right, or who's or something belongs to her. Okay, this is not what we're talking about. All right, so I'm going to cancel 4. All right, and we have whom. Okay, now that this person is the subject of the sentence, not the object, so I'm canceling 3. Okay, and then we have who. Okay, it makes sense. Okay, let's see if there are any better answers. We have 1, which is thing, which is which. Okay, which refers to things, so it is not the answer. Making number 2 the answer. All right, the teacher who gave us extra homework was very kind. All right, I hope that makes sense to you guys. All right. All right, let's do some more grammar. Okay, now let's take a look. The doctor reminded her patient that their next session is scheduled blank Monday. All right. So now, okay, for those who just joined, welcome. Okay, do take a look with us. We are talking about grammar MCQs right now. Okay, do let me know if you have any questions. All right. Do let me know if you have any questions. All right. Okay. Now let's look at question 11. All right. The doctor reminded her patient that their next session is scheduled blank Monday. All right. So what might the answer be? Okay, so let's take a look over here. Let's take a look. Okay, so we have to, we have by, we have on, and we have past. All right, so now what might the answer be over here? Okay, welcome to the live. All right, let me know if you have any questions. I will be happy to answer them. All right, okay, so to, okay, 有什么问题都可以问的哦。Okay, so to is, okay, to refers to, okay, used to for direction. Wait, let me just write that down better. This is for direction, all right. And then we have by. By means for a deadline, all right. Deadline, that is what we're usually talking about. And then we have on. On is used for days of the week. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in a bit for you guys. 有什么问题的都可以问我。Okay, days of the week, all right. And then we have past. Past means something already happened. Something already happened. All right. Something already happened. Okay, so what we're gonna do over here, is that we are going to, okay, check what might be correct. Okay, the doctors reminded her patient that the next session is scheduled blank Monday. Okay, first things first, direction doesn't make sense. Okay, Monday is a specific day, it is not a direction, so I'm canceling out two. Okay, by, okay, it could be a deadline, but it doesn't really make sense because we're talking about the next session, we're talking about a checkup, we're talking about a medical checkup. Okay, so it doesn't really make sense. And then we have on. Okay, that makes sense, but let's see number 4. Past Monday, that doesn't really make sense because it hasn't happened yet. That's why they are scheduling it. Okay, so we will have number 3 as the answer. Okay, the doctor reminded her patient that the next session is scheduled on Monday. All right, so alternatively you can say that it's scheduled for Monday. All right, okay, now, okay, question 12, let's take a look. Mr. Lim told the class that the spelling test would take place blank Thursday. All right, so what might the answer be? Hi everyone, welcome to the live. Okay, 有什么问题的都可以问我们。Okay, so we are going through the P6 questions. Okay, 这是新加坡小六会考的问题。Okay, so if you guys have any questions, you guys can let us know. All right. Mr. Lim told the class that the spelling test would take place blank Thursday. Okay, so again, by means before, okay, or it means a certain deadline, all right? It means a certain deadline. And then we have in. In is essentially, okay, in is used for longer periods, such as months or years. Longer periods, months, years, all right. So, and then we have at. Thank you so much for the likes. All right, so we have at. At is used for clock times. So example, you're saying like a specific time, like 8 a.m. Okay, 8 a.m. That would make sense, okay, for you to use at. I will go to sleep at 8 p.m. Okay, that's a bit early, but yes, you guys get what I mean. All right, and then we have on. On is used for days, all right? So I will go to work on Monday, okay? That is what it means, okay? Do take a look. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. All right, so over here, okay, so let's take a look. Okay, we are talking about Thursday, which is a specific day. Okay, and we're talking about a spelling test. Mr. Lim told the class that the spelling test would take place by Thursday. it doesn't seem to be necessary that there is a deadline. Okay, so let's cancel it out. In, okay, it doesn't make sense because Thursday is a day, not a long period of time. At, okay, Thursday is not a time, so I'm canceling out tree. Okay, it doesn't make sense. Okay, then we have on. On is for days, and it seems to be the best answer, so I'm circling on. Alright, do let me know if you guys have any questions. Alright, do let me know if you guys have any questions. Alright, so let's take a look. Okay, we have 13. The increase in the number of obesity cases amongst children, blank a cause for concern last year. Okay, what might the answer be? What might the answer be? Okay, so let's take a look over here. Okay, take a look here. All right, so first things first, we are talking about the increase in the number of obesity cases. All right, so we're talking about a specific increase. All right, so this is what we're talking about. Okay, and we are saying that this is last year. Okay, so this is the time frame that we're talking about. Okay, so now let's take a look. Okay, welcome to the room. All right, 有什么问题的都可以问我。All right, and then we have, all right, the increase, which is singular. Alright, so we're talking about a specific increase. It is singular. Thank you so much for the likes. Alright, okay, and then let's take a look. Okay, last year is a past action, so we will be using a past. Alright, so and then we have is, are, was, were. Okay, first things first, is present tense. Okay, present tense, and it is singular. Alright, it is singular, and then we have are. Are is plural. Alright, I'm gonna write present tense first. Are is present tense, and it is plural. Okay, and then we have was. Was, okay, is essentially past tense, and it is singular. Alright, and then we have for, which is were. Were is past tense and plural. Okay, so now it is a bit of like a pick and choose right now, okay? So that's what we're going to do, okay? The increase in the number of obesity cases, we're talking about singular past subject. All right, so what we're gonna do here is cancel out the ones that don't fit, okay? So present doesn't make sense, okay? So I'm gonna cancel out this one. Okay, present doesn't make sense again. Okay, past and singular. Okay, tree makes sense. Well, let's see number 4. Past and plural doesn't make sense, leaving us with number 3 as the answer. Alright, so the increase in the number of obesity cases amongst children was a cause for concern last year. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Feel free to ask me. Feel free to ask me. Alright, let's take a look. Question 14. The rise of dengue cases in Singapore, blank, a serious issue 2 years ago. Okay, so it's a very similar question. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, hi, welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. 有什么问题的都可以问我. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Alright, we are going through the PSLE questions. Okay. Okay, the rise in dengue cases in Singapore, a serious issue 2 years ago. So that is past. That is the past that we're talking about. And we're talking about a rise in dengue cases. Okay, this is singular because we're not talking about the dengue cases in this situation. We're talking about the overall rise of cases. All right, so in this case, let's take a look. Okay, were is past. Were is past, and were is plural. Is present. Oh my goodness. Is present, and is singular. Was is past, and was is singular. And then were, oh my goodness. Not were. Are is present, and are is singular. Plural, sorry. Alright, so now let's take a look. Since we're talking about singular and past over here, okay, we are going to cancel out this because it's plural, cancel out this because it's present, okay, and was does seem correct. Let's see if there are any better answers. Okay, R is incorrect as well because it is present and plural. Okay, leaving tree as the answer. The rise in dengue cases in Singapore was a serious issue 2 years ago. Okay, because if we were to start talking about the dengue cases in Singapore, okay, we would talk about we would use the word were. Dengue cases in Singapore were a serious issue 2 years ago, but since we're talking about the rise of these cases, okay, the specific rise, the overall rise, we are using singular. All right. Do look for me, blank, you need any help, Miss Tan told her students. All right, so what do you guys think the answer might be? Okay, so again, over here, over here at question 15, we are doing a bit of dialogue. Okay, so let me know if you guys have any answers. Let me know if you guys have any answers. All right. All right. Do look for me, blank, you need any help. Okay, what might the answer be? Okay, what might the answer be? Okay, first things first, let's take a look. Okay, over here we're talking about a teacher talking to her students, all right? And over here we are also saying, they look for me. So it is offering advice. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, does that make sense? Okay, 有什么问题的都可以来问我哦。我们现在都在做小乐会考我们现在都在做小六会考试卷。Alright. Okay, do look for me, blank, you need any help. Alright, so Miss Tan told her students. Alright, so now let's take a look. Okay, now will is too strong. It is more like a command. Will you need any help? Okay. It's a bit shall. Okay, shall shall is not commonly used in this context. Okay, so now the thing about the word shall is that it is also kind of old-fashioned. Okay, so we won't use it here. And we have the word would. Okay, I'm just gonna cancel out shall. Would. Okay, would is more, would wouldn't work either. Okay, and then we have should. Okay, it is usually polite. Okay, it is polite. Okay, but the thing about should, okay, I'm saying that should is the answer. Okay, the thing about should that makes it a good answer is that should is usually used when it comes to offering something. So if I'm gonna say to my boss today, please let me know should you need me to submit anything else. Okay, so that is usually how you use should. Okay, do look for me should you need any help. Okay, so it is always the word should. All right. Okay, question 16. Okay, feel free to approach me, blank, you need anything, said the counselor. Okay, so again, over here, it is about approaching me if you need anything. So it is offering. And the counselor, so I'm assuming that this is your school's counselor. All right, the school counselor. All right, that is slightly different. Okay, so now let's take a look. So over here, hi everyone, welcome to the live. All right, do let me know if you have any questions. All right, okay, now this one says, feel free to approach me, blank, you need anything, said the counselor. All right, now when it comes to the word should, it is a polite way of saying if, right? So it essentially suggests that in any case that you would need any help, please do come to me, right? And then we have the word would. Okay, would is not something I would use. Would you need any help? Okay, I would use in this kind of conversations. I'm just gonna cancel it out. All right, shall again, it is very outdated and not commonly used in this context. Okay, and then we have the word will. Okay, now will. Okay, will doesn't fit on after feel free to approach me. Will you need anything? Okay, does not make sense. Leaving out us with the answer should. Okay, when you're asking for something, just know that should is the most appropriate. All right. Question 17. If Richard blanked to his mother, he would not have lost his wallet. All right. So first things first, if is, as you see here over, it's a third conditional. Okay, imaginary past. And what you have to do with third conditionals is that you have to invert it. Okay, that is how you do it in synthesis. All right. Okay, so over here, let's look at what the answer might be. Okay, he would not have lost his wallet. Okay, so what we're gonna do, okay, when it comes to structure, is that this structure will always be okay. So if had plus past participle. All right. So now let's take a look. Okay, listens is not correct because listens is present tense. It does not fit what we want here. So I'm canceling out listen. All right, listened. Okay, listen, it is past, but missing had, right? So it is not the full structure, it is not correct. And then we have was listening. Okay, was listening is continuous tense. Okay, so it really doesn't suit the meaning. Oh my god, what happened? Okay, had listen is, okay, had listen is, had past participle, which is exactly what we want, meaning that for is the answer. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Okay, I'm gonna let everyone look at the next 3 questions for a while. Okay, I will be right back. 好，你好。All right, okay, let's go through this question. All right, if Sarah does her homework earlier, she would not have been scolded. Okay. Okay, if Sarah blanked her homework earlier, okay, she would not have been scolded. Okay, now the main thing over here is that we can see that there is the word if. Okay, now the word if is the key here. It's just a conditional. Okay, now this will be a little bit more confusing if this was synthesis and transformation. We can do that a bit later. Okay, now the thing about synthesis and transformation is that you would have to rearrange the sentence and invert some of the meanings. Okay, and that is essentially what makes it so confusing. Okay, but in this case, we are only doing we're only working on filling in the blanks, so it's slightly better. All right, so if Sarah blanked her homework earlier, she would not have been scolded. All right, so now conditional, think about the third conditional that we have over here is that it follows this format. All right, take a look with me. If plus had plus past participle. Okay, does that make sense? All right, now let's take a look. Okay, now the main thing about this over here is that we can see that, okay, it is talking about homework earlier, she, and this word. Okay, oh. Okay, now, over here, okay, so let's take a look, okay, had done, okay, is had plus past participle. Did is simple past. And we have does. Does is present tense. Was doing is continuous. All right. Now let's start from the back. All right. Continuous is wrong for the sentence because over here we're talking about was doing. Hi HP. Welcome to the live. Do let us know if you have any questions. All right. 有什么问题都可以问我们哦。Okay, and then we have continuous. All right, continuous is was doing. All right, it does not have anything to do with the sentence, so I'm going to cancel it. Does is present tense. We're talking about the past here because she's saying if I had done this earlier, okay, then this wouldn't have happened. Okay, so does, I'm going to cancel it. Okay, did is simple past. All right, it does not match the conditional structure over here. Over here, you can see the conditional structure. It does not match that. All right, so I'm canceling out did. All right, and then also we have had done, which fits the structure of a had plus past participle. All right, we already have if over here, so we only need the had plus past participle over here. So I'm going to cancel out. I'm going to put down 1 as the answer. If Sarah had done her homework earlier, she would not have been scolded. All right, so that is how this works. All right, so let me know if you guys have any questions. All right. Hi, welcome to the room. Welcome to the live. All right. 有什么问题都可以问我们. All right. And please let us know if you have any questions. All right. Question 19. She'd won the race. Blank sheet, asked Mina. All right, so again, this follows the structure of he has, hasn't he? You have, haven't you? Okay, and didn't, are, aren't, is, isn't, and much more. All right, and the one exception that we have here, I'm gonna put it in, actually gonna put it in orange. All right, which is am, aren't. All right, so that is the one exception. Okay, she won the race, and since we're using she did, Thank you so much for the likes. Thank you so much for the likes. All right. So since the main thing over here is she did is okay. She is she had. She had won the race. Okay? She had won the race. And so we have to put the negative tag, we have to match it, all right? We have to match it with the NT. And that's why we will have 4. All right, so we will have 4 over here as the answer. She won the race, hadn't she? All right. She won the race, hadn't she? Asked Nina. All right. So has does not match the question tag. We using had over here, okay, and not has, okay. And had is we have to use the negative form. Okay, had does not, it lacks the nt at the back, so it's not correct. Has is the wrong verb and also the wrong form. That's why I am not going to use it. Okay, do let us know if you have any questions. All right. They finished their project blank day. Okay, now the main thing over here is that we have the date again, which is simply they had. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? Oh, what happened to the pen? Okay, now if we're gonna be following the same rules, okay, we cannot be using had because we have to have a negative tag, right? So we need a negative tag here. All right, so I hope that makes sense to everyone. All right, so had is not going to be correct. Okay, we need a negative tag canceling out. Okay, hasn't is the wrong verb completely, so it is not correct. All right, and hadn't they? Okay, hadn't they is hadn't is correct. Okay, but there is a hadn't they over here, but we have to see that there is already a day here. But see, this is repeated, so number 4 is not correct. Leaving 3 as the best answer. All right. Hi, welcome to the live. Right? 有什么问题都可以问我们。Okay, and then let's take a look. Okay, we will start on a bit of vocab after, but let's try some S and T's because I keep on telling you guys that S and T's are actually harder. Okay, now let's do some S and T's. Okay, so I feel like S and T's, they really, it is testing. So if you don't do so well with S and T's at the start, it's okay. Okay, it's completely okay that you're not doing that well with S and T's, but definitely do not give up. Keep on working on it. It is tricky, and I would say the thing about S and T's is that there are a lot of rules as well. So it is important that you are always on top of it, right? Yeah, why is it?
The Wi-Fi connection got problem.
Oh no. What happened? Is it working better?
Should be okay.
It is a bit like yeah, it is a bit. And the yeah, okay, it's good now. It's good now. Don't change it. Don't change it. It's good now. Okay, okay. Okay, it is great now. Don't have to change anymore. All right, so let's take a look. Okay, so let's look at the first question. Okay, now this, okay, just to give everyone a better idea, I'm gonna go through section by section. Okay, this is reported speech. Okay, this is reported speech. Okay, the guest asked Peter, "Where is the bookshop?" All right, so this is it. All right, the guest asked Peter, "Where is the bookshop?" Okay, now the main thing about changing in reported speech is that okay, I'm gonna write this in red. Statement. Sorry, my bad. Questions have to become statements, even if it means rearranging the sentence. All right, and then quotation marks, which are these. Quotation marks and question marks, these. Have to be removed. All right, so I hope that makes sense. All right, okay, so these are the main ideas. All right, okay, now the guest asked Peter where the bookshop was. Okay, now over here we have the guest asked Peter where is the bookshop. Okay, now first things first, remove the quotation marks. We have to change this into a statement. Is, we will change it to was. Okay, and this whole thing we will change it around. We will change where, we will change this to. All right, so we'll change ask Peter where the bookshop was. All right, so now it is a statement. All right, now it's a statement. Okay, now let's try the second one. The teacher asked the students, "Why are you late for class?" All right, now let's do, this is also reported speech. Okay, why are you late? We will change from are to were, change of tense. Why were you late for class? And you will change to they. Okay, thank you so much for the likes. Thank you so much. All right, so let's take a look. Why were they late for class? All right, now why were they late for class is still a question. Okay, we'll try why they were. Okay, ask the students why. All right, so I hope that makes more sense. All right. Okay. Always remember to put a full stop at the back. All right. So sometimes I understand that like assessment books they already have the full stops written out for you, and that's okay to not write full stops in that case. However, when you are actually in the exam, please be careful because they might not always have the full stops written out for you. So it is important that you are checking if it's there, okay? Because if there's no full stop there and you are just, leaving it as it is, the sentence is not technically complete, okay? You might run into some issues. All right? Okay? The surgeon operated on the patient successfully. This is not reported speech anymore. All right, the surgeon operated on the patient successfully. A team of doctors assisted him. Okay, so what might the answer be? Okay, what might the answer be? Okay, so over here, first things first, we're talking about the surgeon operating on a patient successfully, and then we are talking about a second extra information, an extra information that a team of doctors assisted him. All right. So now, first things first, we're talking about with the. We're adding with the. The thing about with the, okay, with the help, with the introduces assistance. Okay, now since we're talking about assistant, we're going to change this to with the assistance of a team of doctors. Okay, because this is, oh no, what happened? Okay, this is the extra thing. Okay, the assistance of a team of doctors, and then we have to add a comma because we still need to separate those two ideas and help readers to understand that it's still considered extra information. All right, the surgeon operated on the patient successfully. All right, do let me know if you have any questions. All right, do let me know. Right, the police caught the thief swiftly. A sniffer dog helped them. All right, so again with the, I'm gonna give you guys like a few seconds to work on this. All right, for those who are trying to answer the questions, I'm gonna show you guys the previous question so you guys have something to work on. All right, I'm giving you guys like a few seconds. I'll give you guys a few seconds. All right, let's begin. All right, with the, all right, so again, we're talking about assistance, we're talking about extra information. Okay, this is the introduction to it. Okay, so okay, so with the, okay, so what we have over here is with the, okay, with the help, we're going to change it into noun like we did previously. We're going to change it into help. With the help of a sniffer dog, we're trying to change as little as possible. So even when it comes to this, write a as per this instead of the. Okay, don't switch it. The police caught the thief quickly. All right, with the help of a sniffer dog, the police caught the thief quickly. And remember your full stop. All right. Okay. Number 5. We were woken up by a clap of thunder last night. Okay, so this one is quite complex. Okay, so definitely is something to be careful of. Okay, this is passive voice. So essentially, what we're doing is we're changing from active to passive voice. Okay, I'm gonna explain a bit more on what that is. Okay, essentially, when you're talking about an active voice, you will be saying that. Okay, in this case, Okay, we were woken up by a clap of thunder last night. Okay, but then when you're talking about more passive voice, that means the thing happened to us. Okay, the thing happened to us, which is a clap of thunder woke us up. Okay, so over here we were woken up, so it puts us as the subject. But over here, if we're saying a clap of thunder woke us up, we are the object. Okay, so it is slightly different, right? So passive voice. Okay, so we are reversing the subject and object positions. All right, so that is the main difference. Okay, I understand that it might be a bit frustrating at first, but I promise that once students, you guys get the hang of it, once you guys do a bit more practice, it begins to make a bit more sense. Just a bit more sense. All right, we were woken up by a clap of thunder last night. Okay, so now first things first is we were, okay, and the clap of thunder. These are the two main things. Okay, so we're gonna reverse this thing, and then everything else should follow according to logic. All right, so over here, let's change to we were woken up by a clap of thunder last night. We will change to a clap of thunder, something us last night. Okay, so now woken up by, we're gonna change this to woke us up. A clap of thunder woke us up last night. Okay, and then we have question 6 over here. Okay, it is slightly similar. I'm gonna leave this over here so you guys can reference number 5. All right. Okay, any answers? Okay, I'm gonna just go through. All right. The door was slammed shut by the strong wind. So again, two main things: the door and the strong wind. So we want to reverse their positions in this case. We are going to be talking about the strong wind first. All right. So was slammed shut by. We're gonna change this to slammed shut. All right. So I'm gonna insert this in here. The strong wind slammed. Okay, slammed what shut? The door shut. All right, full stop. Okay, so that will be our answer. All right. Okay, and then we have another type of question over here. Okay, owing to will hint to you that this question is a cause and effect question. Okay, it will be a cause and effect question. Okay, it is different, I would say. All right, it is different. Okay, any answers? Any answers? Okay, any answers? All right, let's take a look. Okay, welcome to the live. Okay, do let us know if you have any questions. All right. Okay, so let's do the last couple of questions. Okay, owing to is will hint at a cause and effect. Okay, owing to introduces the cause. All right, it is something to note. Owing to introduces the cause. All right, so over here, let's take a look at what's going on in this question. David stopped work. He injured his back. Okay, so David stopped work because he injured his back. All right, so the thing about S&T is that there is that level of, I wouldn't say common sense, but a level of logic that has to be there. All right, so David stopped work. That is the effect. And the cause of that is because he injured his back, right? So owing to his injured back, okay, oh, not back. Okay, we want to make it into more of a noun structure, okay? We want to make this, turn this to his injured back because it is more of a noun structure. Owing to his injured back, we have to put a comma. We still have to separate the difference. We still have to separate the two clauses. All right. David stopped work. Okay. David stopped work. All right. So that is question 7. Okay. Do let me know if you have any questions. All right. Do let me know if you have any questions. All right, so let's do another few questions of S and T. We are almost done. All right. The athlete withdrew from the race. He sprained his ankle. Okay, so now again, this is a cause and effect question. Okay, again, the owing to introduces cause. And the thing about this is that you have to remember that not only are you introducing the cause at this point, you're introducing the noun cause, which means that whatever is written in the cause section, you have to change it into a noun. All right, the athlete withdrew from the race. He sprained his ankle. The effect is that the athlete had to withdraw from the race, okay, because he sprained his ankle. Okay, and we are gonna change this into a noun again. Okay, he sprained his ankle. Okay, we're gonna change it into his sprained ankle. Okay, so I'm gonna put this here. Okay, owing to his sprained ankle, comma, the athlete withdrew from the race. All right, does that make sense to everyone? Hi, Push. Welcome to the live. Hi everyone, welcome to the live. Okay, do let me know if you guys have any questions. 有什么问题都可以问我. All right. The desk was vandalized. Peter did it. All right. And then we have to put the words none other. All right. So what might the answer be? What might the answer be? I'll let you guys have a few seconds to attempt it first. Any answers? Okay, now let's take a look at this. Okay, now let's take a look. Okay, the desk was vandalized. Peter did it. Okay, now the idea of none other, okay, adds emphasis. So we really have to see what is the main point of the sentence, all right? Okay, so now the main point is the desk was vandalized. Peter did it. Okay, so the idea is that this is the emphasis of the question. that Peter is the culprit, and that is what we need to highlight. Okay, so none other, we will put it with Peter. Okay, but the thing is, none other is often accompanied by then, none other than. Okay, so say none other than Peter. All right. Okay, so there are actually two ways of writing this. I'm gonna go with one way first and then show you guys the other way. Okay, so you can go with it was none other than Peter who vandalized. Okay, who vandalized the desk, or you could say the desk was vandalized by none other than Peter. Okay, so if you're gonna write the second one, do remember to put by and then. You have to add these two in. All right. Okay, last question. Okay, we have 3 more minutes. Okay, 2 more minutes. Last question. Okay, I'm giving you guys a few seconds to do this. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, the art book was destroyed. Jane was responsible. Okay, again, the emphasis is on the idea that Jane was the one responsible. Okay, responsible is quite heavy over here. Okay, none other. We're gonna put a then here to start us off, and we're gonna put the cause was none other than Jane. Okay. Now, what we're gonna do is the artwork was destroyed. Okay, we can do this. The artwork was destroyed by none other than Jane, or you could say it was none other than Jane who destroyed the artwork. Okay, so but I would definitely recommend students to use this one. Okay, it is the structure of it was dot 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 who dot dot dot. All right, so we have finished this questions. All right, moderator, we end at 4, right? All right, so we will end this live first. All right, thank you everyone for joining. All right, thank you so much for joining.